Hello and welcome to ReefGrrl's weekly reef wrap-up number 9. Here, I'm showing you the ramp that was built to finally get the new tank into the house. If you're interested in seeing the whole video on this process, there's a link in the description. That's why I missed last week's update. The big thing was the tank move-in, but a lot of other stuff happened also. While we wait to get a whole home generator, we decided it was time to back up the observation tank. There's fish in there that I really don't want to risk to more power outages. So I'm going to plug this whole power bar right into the battery backup. That should give me about 45 minutes if I turn off the light when it happens. We're also considering seriously to back up the frag tank, because it also is run by a single power bar. Even if I only get 20 minutes of actual backup, in the case of the power outages we've had, that would be pretty close to what we need. And on Monday night, the ramp was finally being completed in preparation for the move-in the next evening. And here we are, finally, after it was all done. I still can't quite believe it, almost 2 weeks later. Check out the video link in the description if you want to see how it all went. Here's the leak test in progress. At this point, we have just over 225 gallons of water in here, and we have discovered 0 leaks. We're going to leave it overnight with the water circulating using the transfer pump that I had used to pump water into here from the utility sink. This will all be part of the video about getting the tank up and running, but I'm just showing you the progress that we're making so far. We still have to hope that the overflow itself will hold water, because we don't know that yet, and I'm not assuming anything. I hope it does, and if there are any leaks, I'm hoping they'll be relatively straightforward to fix because of where the overflow is in relation to the wall, and it's at a good height and all of that. But I hope I don't have to find out. Well, here's a dose of reef reality when it comes to having a big tank. I kind of assumed I'd have plenty of power heads for whatever I wanted throughout the whole tank. But guess what? Most of these magnets will not hold through 1/2-inch glass. So yep, I am out of luck. All these little power heads that I was planning on using to supplement flow as I had done in the Red Sea tank, nope, not gonna work. So now I have to figure out what to do, because as soon as you start getting to these power heads that have to have big magnets holding on through 1/2-inch glass and more, yeah, the price starts going up. Well, my husband had a great suggestion. He said, what if you use a stronger magnet? So he went and dug in his place where he keeps the magnets, and look what he found. He found all kinds of magnets. And I know for a fact, these magnets right here, and I can't even unstick them, these Innovative Marine, ouch, micro mags, these things are so strong you can barely peel them apart. We're gonna try these. No, they do not work with power heads, but they do hold through 1/2-inch glass, and in fact are designed as glass cleaners. Yeah, I didn't know that. I just bought them because they were really cheap. So I'm going to use them as glass cleaners on the Eurobrace, because these horizontal surfaces close to the water get really grungy with algae. I learned that from my Clearview lid, and now I have the answer to that, and I didn't even know it, and so I'm kind of glad I went on this little journey. Did a water change on this tank tonight, 50%. Oh, did it ever need it. One of the things I did was rinse out the biomedia bag, because it was very cruddy with detritus. And I rinsed it out in the removed tank water. I've already rescued a bunch of pods. There's a bristleworm, which I'm not going to rescue because I know there are lots more where he came from. But as soon as I saw it, I wish I had a microscope. I'd be scooping up some of this and see what it actually is. But for now, it's going to go down the drain. Here's my original Jabo DP4 doser, and these tubes look a little worse for wear. Look at this one, I think the one's longer. And check this out, Yeah, obviously that was alkalinity and I did not clean out the tubes. So we're going to take these apart and get everything all fixed up and good to go again, because I've owned this thing for 6 years, maybe even more than 6 years, and it was pretty faithful up until recently. So I'm going to give it a makeover and put it back into service. So we bought one of these because we're going to run multiple lines of outside air into the system, into the skimmer, and also air bubblers into the sump. I want to try and bump the pH a little. So we'll see how this thing works. My husband found it when he was doing research into bubbling, and it was 50 bucks Canadian on Amazon. So yeah, we'll see what happens with this. There'll be a video. I'm getting a pair of new fish in a few days, and to make space for them in the observation tank, I need to catch and remove the purple tang and the sailfin tang and move them over here into the 100-gallon vessel that has the skimmer in it. So that's going to be quite a job. It's going to be a separate video, but that's part of what happened this week. Well, I guess this pair of Seachi Extreme SDC powerheads is the start of my new, bigger powerhead collection. I got them on sale at aquariumdepot.ca for a really good price. I've been running the lights on and off to check the programming, and I will say these lights get hot. The Atlantic app will tell me what the temperature of the lights is, and it's in excess of 46 degrees. We thought the two little USB fans would keep things cool in here, but I don't think it's going to be enough. So we purchased a couple of 6-inch clamp fans, and they're hung on the back of the canopy. They're aimed slightly up and to the sides. The idea there is for the air to flow and go across the LED drivers, and at the same time to draw air out of the canopy, push it forward, and hopefully draw cool air in from the back to keep the temperature within a decent range up here. It kind of worries me if it starts getting close to 50 degrees. I don't think that's very good for the lights or the environment in this room. So I'll keep you posted on whether this works or not. Oh boy. Coral wars, look at that. Yeah, plate coral stinging the Yuma Recordia. Yeah, so I guess I'm gonna need to move the Yuma back. This guy is doing so unbelievably well. I hope I can give it as good a spot when it finally goes in the big tank. Okay, time to fix a problem. I picked up my new fish today, and they're in this bucket awaiting acclimation. I also picked up another little fish. This one is for the frag tank. Yep, it's a Royal Grandma. Here's my new pair of reef-safe angelfish, Genacanthus melanospilos, or spot breast angels. They're in medicated water, and I need to get the salinities to match between this water and the tank. The acclimation lines are in both containers, and hopefully within a few hours I'll be close enough that I'll be able to put the fish in the tanks. It took about 3.5 hours to get the salinities matched up, and the fish are doing great. And I'm happy to say that despite jumping out of the net when I was putting him in the tank and landing on the concrete floor, this little guy is also doing well, upright, breathing, and snugged into a little tiny spot beside a rock, which from my experience is normal Royal Grandma behavior. So I noticed the temperature was low. So I checked the tank itself, and sure enough it's 72 because I thought it felt cold. Well, it turns out this thing you can't even touch, it's hot. The pressure here before we shut it off was 50, it never gets up to 50. So now we're bleeding the water out of the lines because we think there's air. We have it in a maintenance schedule to do this once every 6 weeks or so. We did not do it the last time. So, my bad. We just put it off, and so now we have to do it. So what happens here is I turn the tap on, until the water comes right up to here. Then my husband will open this valve to allow the water to go into the system, and he opens this valve and water comes out of there. So we're gonna do that, and then I'll show you what that water looks like. Yeah, so this is what comes out of the PEX pipe. It's been like this the last 3 times we've done it, and there was a huge airlock right at the beginning of the line, so that's probably what caused the blockage. All right, so you can actually touch the pump now. It's cooled down. The heater is plugged in. You can see that it's on. The pump is plugged back in to the Inkbird, and now the temperature should start to rise. All right, we're back on track, up to 23 degrees. Put the lid on here. Put the other lid just askew across that tank to help maintain some of the heat. And I think we'll be fine. These tanks have already gone up a full degree. And yeah, we're gonna have to put this on a schedule and stick to the schedule. I'll finish off by showing you my fox coral after lights out. That's when it all closes up and you can really appreciate how huge this skeleton is. If you like this video, why not give it a thumbs up, and think about subscribing if you want to follow along and see how things go with the new big build. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, everybody, and I'll see you next week.